So I would like to advise GMs heading into this draft. And I saw Todd McShay's new list, and it had 4 quarterbacks going in the first 4 picks. And I think that I understand the risk that you want to take to get a quarterback. But don't be fans, GMs, and don't be stupid. Like, do not allow your ego to get in the way and have you convinced that you are going to make the next Patrick Mahomes, because he's not in this draft, because Patrick Mahomes has been in one draft. There was no draft before Patrick Mahomes. There was nobody like Patrick Mahomes after draft. So if you are fearful that you're going to be made fun of like the Bears for passing up on Watson and Mahomes, put that away. Don't do that, and don't let that trick you into making a terrible decision and reaching for one of these quarterbacks. Go with Penei Sewell. All the tackles in the draft from last year, they balled out. Think about Becton, Wirfs. They won the Super Bowl in part because Tristan Wirfs could play tackle at the level that he played. So go ahead and get Penei Sewell, because most of these quarterbacks are going to be bad. It happens every year. We get all hyped up and excited, and we go into the draft. We're like, hey, it's like 4 franchise quarterbacks in this draft. You know how many franchise quarterbacks are in most drafts? None. So don't do it. The tackle that we saw, Penei Sewell, the things that he did in college are going to work. All the tackles that went last year that had success, none of them are as good as he is. So pick them up as soon as you can. If you don't got Trevor Lawrence, get Sewell.
Okay, I love this thought, and I want to bring I want to turn this into a conversation. And Mike Tannenbaum, I wanted you in this as well, because you were a general manager. It feels to me like there were 2 separate things that you're saying here, Domonique, and one of them is that a lot of times, and Mike, I'm looking right at you as I say this, I believe general managers make these picks out of fear of losing their jobs. Which do you think is the greater fear? Taking a quarterback high who doesn't work out, or passing on a quarterback who does? Which is the greater fear that GMs go into these drafts with?
Yeah, taking your quarterback and he doesn't work out, and you really need, and Nick touched on it a little bit, when you look at Todd McShay's mock draft yesterday, it's a referendum of where we are. Everyone's trying to get that quarterback, Greeny, and you're worried that all the work you do and you scour, that's the verb, you scour for a year, and when it doesn't work out, you sit there and you're like, what was wrong with our process? So you're going to be aggressive, you're going to try to move up, and then you're really worried that, what did we do wrong if this guy doesn't work out?
I get it. But I guess what I'm asking you is, and look, I mean, in Chicago, they kind of hit both of these, right? They had the daily double. They took the quarterback who didn't work out ahead of the guys who did. But which is the one that gets the general manager fired, Mike Tannenbaum, is what I'm asking you. When you pass on Patrick Mahomes, which is what I think Nick is saying, or when you take someone early and it doesn't work out?
I think it's early and it doesn't work out, because when it doesn't work out, you're not winning games. It doesn't matter how good Patrick Mahomes is. It's about winning games. And if you can't win with Mitch Trubisky, more times than not, it sends you home.
Damian, what do you think? And Domonique is basically saying teams are getting quarterback crazy in the draft. I see the point that he's making. D. Wood, what do you think?
Well, man, it's hard for me to knock a guy who's, glorifying the offensive line, but it's a quarterback-driven league. As much as you talk about, maybe not falling for these type of guys. But at the end of the day, the game is driven by the quarterback position. And if you don't have one, you're in constant search of one. You're in constant search of a franchise quarterback.
Read it. You see what Hembo put up there? Read that. Take a look at that.
Can Hembo put that back up there again? Because the last time that teams moved up, look at that. The most recent top 5 quarterbacks teams traded up for: Darnold, Trubisky, Wentz, Goff, RG3, and Sanchez. Count the championships those guys have won. Add them all together, and we all know Wentz won a championship, or his team won a championship without him. But you know the point that we're making here, Domonique. I think your point is well taken.
Yeah, I mean, this is your job, and I understand that there is fear in doing it, but no one ever does their job well if they do it fearfully. So I think that you need to be brave and confident and select a guy that you think can impact your team, not a guy that you're afraid is going to embarrass you by going and being good elsewhere. Most of these guys are not going to be franchise quarterbacks. That's just the way it is.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.